Welcome back, all you Fabricans and Fleshbags, to the Super Not Bunny Show Reviews. I am Jen Thépuppét, your resident Fabricant and comment extraordinaire on all things pop culture. And today we're going to be reviewing the 6th episode of Young Rock, entitled My Day with Andre, coming to you from NBC and streaming on Peacock and on Hulu. So, was it good? Was it bad? And should you be watching? Stick around because I have opinions. If you smell what Young Rock is cooking. Young Rock, episode 6, entitled My Day with Andre. And this is a follow-up episode. I see to find that we are constantly getting callback episodes. This is a callback episode to a previous episode in which we saw, back in 1982 in Hawaii, Young Rock and his father Rocky and his mother are sort of, they're living the high life, if you will. Rocky Johnson is at the height of his fame, if you will. And there's a guy named Greg Yao who is trying to steal all the wrestlers from The Rock's grandmother, who also runs Peter Maivia's wrestling promotion. So, what is Rocky going to do? He wants to be a big star and have Andre the Giant, Andre the Giant type action figures. So what's he going to do? And that's really kind of the base of this. At the same time, young Dewey, completely oblivious to all this stuff's going on. He just wants to go see E.T., but he has to stick around with his boring old wrestling stuff. But to the rescue comes Andre the Giant, which, in an awesome display of being a pseudo uncle, says, "Hey, I'll take young Dewey out," and they proceed to have young Dewey's day with Andre. And it's actually a very interesting, and just as an aside, that little side story, because it's not the main story. Actually, Dewey's sort of really a third, second, third string on here. But his little bit with Andre and kind of getting the insight into Andre's life as being too big and why he doesn't like to go to the theater, and then eventually going to the theater to see E.T. with him, and really having a bonding moment. So sweet, such a sweet and interesting, fun time. It just really makes you appreciate, as a person who grew up watching pro wrestling, you really would get that, how awesome it was for young Dwayne Johnson to actually have had this kind of relationship with a legend, and a legend that apparently was a really awesome and cool guy. So that was really a really fun thing to see, the interaction between young Dewey and Andre the Giant. At the same time, his mother, encouraged by Rocky, really wants to go and make a Star Search, an audition tape, and realizes that everyone is doing the same freaking song that she wanted to do, but with the encouragement of her husband. Who, let's give props where it belongs. Rocky was an encouraging guy, a guy whose philosophy seemed to be to shoot for the stars, believe in yourself, promote yourself. And he believes in his wife so much that she can really sing and everything, and encourages her to differentiate herself, just like he tries to differentiate himself as a wrestler. Very interesting. She ends up creating a brand new original song that he really loves. And so, with those two storylines out the way, we proceed to the actual main storyline. Following on the previous one, will Rocky take Greg Yao's? Will he take his money? Will he defect? Will he turn on his mother-in-law? And all the signs, and in a great bit of direction and writing, all the signs seem to point to yes, that Rocky really does want to take that money so he can further his career. And it seems so true that Grandma sees and draws a conclusion. And so the plan that she had originally had to make Rocky her number one at her promotion, have him win the Battle Royale, have him take the belt that her husband Peter Maivia had vacated, no one had. Well, that plan goes right out the window, and as as they term it in, in wrestling. It's a screw job, and Rocky is on the receiving end. But like a consummate professional, he does indeed go ahead and go through with the screw job and allow the Iron Sheik to become the number one. And as an aside, Iron Sheik became really, like quite a big heel around sometime after that. Maybe a year or two after that in the WWF. So was this a situation where Rocky getting screwed over the rest of his career? Because we know that years later, he's just working working for Anheuser-Busch or something like that. Was that what happened? Who knows? Possibly. What we do see, though, is that Rocky was on the up and up. That he went there to basically just put down on Greg Yao and let him know that he wasn't going to screw over his mother-in-law. So ironic that in doing so and not letting anybody know, he gets screwed himself. And so at the end of the day, it's just a really kind of a tragic little story about someone trying to get revenge or trying to hurt someone before someone else can hurt them. And it turns out really bad for the Johnsons. So, what did I think about this episode? You know what? I thought it was a great episode, actually. So, and not fun, not especially funny. It had funny moments, not especially funny. Just kind of dramatic in many ways, heartwarming in some parts. And even though I saw the screw job coming from a mile away, it was just hurt. I really felt a little hurtful, just the way that someone who has been hurt and kind of screwed over previously, and feeling like the ultimate betrayal from a family member is happening, feeling the need to hurt someone first in the process. And it really kind of shows, in my mind, the kind of the bad idea of trying to preemptively get revenge or revenging yourself, and how that how it comes back to bite you. And it's really it really shows like the sort of perseverance and the sort of character and the sort of person that Rocky really was. Even as he continued on later on, taking lesser and lesser wrestling roles, it really kind of in my mind just really builds up to me all these characters. Even Grandma, even she did a shitty thing, but I can understand where she's coming from. So I really like this episode. I think if you're not watching Young Rock and you like wrestling, what are you doing? Watch this show. You should be checking this out. It's good stuff. Really just makes me, I feel like I have a better understanding of The Rock and his family and everything like that. It's really just, it's a great show. I really love it. I'm enjoying it. Really hope it gets renewed for a second season. So, what did you guys think of this episode? Did you like it, not like it? And what you think about this review? Why don't you let me know down in the comments? And of course, if you want to talk a little bit more at length, you can always hit me up, supernotfunnyshow@gmail.com or at supernotfunnys1 on Twitter. And hey, are you subscribed to this channel? What, you're not? Well, get down there and hit that subscribe button. Join the Super Not Funny Show family. Of course, you can always hit the notification bell. It'll let you know when we are dropping new content, and we do that every week. New reviews, new reactions, anything else that floats our pop culture boat. All right, all you Fabricans and Fleshbags, thanks for joining me on this review. Come back next week. We'll be reviewing the next episode of Young Rock. Until then, I've been Jen Thépuppét, your resident Fabricant and comment extraordinaire on all things pop culture. And I'll catch you guys on the other side of the thread. Peace.